Hello, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I started making AI music and everything I learned about it along the way. I'm the kind of person who's always making weird connections in my head. Song ideas, movie concepts, random observations. It's just how I think. So a few years ago, a friend was telling me about her divorce and mentioned that the papers were signed on Bastille Day. I told her that sounded like one of those 90s country songs where the woman finally declares she's free. It was just one of a million ideas rattling around in my head for a long while. And a few months ago, when I was trying out the AI song generator tool at 11 Labs, it was the first thing I thought of.
It's Bastille Day, my heart beats like a drum.
Now, the concept of AI music isn't a new one. Back in 1976, in Superman Family number 176, Superman uses his Fortress of Solitude supercomputer to analyze a bunch of existing country songs and generate a hit song for Jimmy Olsen.
The computer analyzed several hundred famous bluegrass songs and applied the formula to creating one of its own.
That's pretty much how these AI tools work now, except the dataset is massively larger. The training data starts as this giant pool, everything that's ever been recorded. Inside that, you've got these large overlapping clusters for the major genres: country, rock, pop, and so on. Then inside those, you've got smaller, more specific slices: 90s country, southern rock, outlaw country, whatever. And inside all of those, it's just complete chaos. All the individual songs, recordings, styles, and influences tangled up together. And what you wind up with is a big overlapping mess. Nothing is neatly organized. It's one big chaotic intersection. So when I write a prompt, I'm basically setting parameters that tell the AI to pull from a much narrower slice of that chaos. The prompt defines the style, the era, the mood, the subject, and it filters everything down to that smaller subset. For the Bastille Day song, the prompt was simple. Make a country song about a woman who gains her freedom on Bastille Day, celebrating her, and right there, I guess I hit enter before writing the word divorce. But that was enough to point the AI at the right overlapping clusters: 90s country production, female vocals, upbeat freedom theme, and it came back with a full song that actually matched the idea I'd been carrying around for years.
It's Bastille Day, my heart beats like a drum.
But here's where it gets tricky. The same thing that makes the tools useful, narrowing down the dataset with your parameters, is also what can create problems. If you make the prompt too specific, you can accidentally focus on such a narrow slice that it starts pulling in actual copyrighted material instead of just the general style. In other words, you can emulate a style, but you can't reproduce someone else's exact work. That's the line. Even with guardrails in the tools, a really detailed description can still land you too close to an existing song. Like when I described an epic progressive rock ballad with a slow build to a big guitar solo and got the exact lyrics to Stairway to Heaven back. So that's the practical reality I work with. My channel isn't monetized. I've got about 800 subscribers after 10 years, and I treat these as creative experiments. And if something comes out too close to an existing track, I just don't use it. Now for me, finding the music generator was a dream come true. I was like Jimmy James in that episode of News Radio when he got a new shredder and started jamming things into it to see what would happen.
Mr. James dropped a muffin in the shredder. The shredder's fine. He just sent me in here to get some donuts and bagels or anything else that would look cool all chopped up.
I just wanted to start putting stuff into the machine to see what I'd get. So another idea from years ago was based on Deep Blue Something's Breakfast at Tiffany's. A song about a guy trying to remind his girlfriend how much they have in common by bringing up their favorite movie, while she's clearly checked out and realizing they don't actually connect on anything that matters. I thought it would be funny to do basically the same song, same structure, same vibe, just change the movie. So I used Grok to help me describe the sound without naming the band. Then I told the AI the story structure. I just swapped the movie. It came back pretty close to what I had in my head on the very first try.
What about weekend at Bernie's? Remember that? We laughed until we cried, sitting on my welcome mat. The one with the dead guy on the beach. It wasn't all that bad.
This is the text of the actual prompt I used for this song. Note how the AI incorporated my exact words into the song.
The one with the dead guy on the beach.
Not an exact copy, but it worked. That was the first time I realized you could take the basic architecture of an existing song, the mood, the storytelling shape, and steer it somewhere new without just straight up ripping it off. Unfortunately, I would come to find out it wouldn't always be that easy. For my next project, I'd been thinking on this idea for years. A country song called Kicked in the Nuts of My Heart.
Kicked in the nuts of my heart.
I heard it somewhere, a sitcom or something, I'm not sure where, but it stuck with me. When I was looking for the source of the quote, it wasn't where I thought, but I found several other similar songs on Google. So I started putting together a list of jokes I wanted to get into the lyrics. At first, I figured I could just hand that list over to the AI and let it figure out how to use them. But these tools are like temperamental artists and don't really like being given too much specific material to work with. They either try to cram everything in and it starts to feel forced, or they end up dropping parts of what you asked for. At the same time, I knew that if I wrote the lyrics myself, I'd have full control over the jokes and the humor, but I'd also be limiting what the AI could do musically, since it would be locked into my own structure and rhyme scheme. On the other hand, when I give it simpler direction and more room to create, that's usually when it performs best. AI is made to be as creative as possible. For this one though, I decided to write the lyrics myself anyway. I mean, the humor was the whole point of the song, so I figured the trade-off was worth it. It took a few tries to get the performance right, but I was really happy with how it turned out. Even the night cook at the Waffle House on Scenic Highway got a kick out of it. So that's a handful of the early ones. Some clicked right away, some were messy, and a few taught me important stuff about how these tools actually work. When to give them room, when to step in with my own material, and what kind of trade-offs you run into. If you're enjoying this, stick around for the next one. I've got a whole nother story about an idea that started as a silly wordplay song and somehow turned into 16 completely different versions of the exact same nonsense lyrics. That one gets pretty interesting. Anyway, thanks for watching, leave a like and a comment, and I'll see you in episode 2.